You won't believe it, this boy forgot his own name. But he remembers how great Little Fish is at baseball. What a little genius. Little Fish perked right up. On the other end of the line is none other than classmate Bruce. What a strange world. The first missing child. Little Fish reminded jogged Bruce's memory, and he shared a big secret with her. What a rare opportunity. Right now, only the two of them and the kidnapper can hear this call, and the kidnapper claimed it was just static. Little Fish curiously asked Bruce, "Why are you calling me?" Bruce, in a daze, told Little Fish about a muddy spot hidden in the hole, covered by a square tile. Just dig a tunnel and escape. But he got caught before he could finish digging. Little Fish wildly asked, "Do I have enough time?" Bruce just hung up the phone, such an impatient. In an instant, the vanished children's images flashed, and Little Fish yelled at the door, only to discover it was all just her sister's dream. She woke startled, hopped on her bike, racing around town for answers. She hoped to find that mysterious door from her dream, and meanwhile, Little Fish indeed found the tile Bruce mentioned, and excitedly started to dig her tunnel. Then she flushed the dirt down the toilet, and by midnight, completely exhausted, she covered herself with a carpet and returned to bed, just like a little mole. The kidnapper served breakfast to the miracle class, but Little Fish was too scared to eat, and the man said, "I've locked you up here, why would I need to drug you?" After saying that, he shut the door and left, and Little Fish suddenly realized something, rushing over. But the iron door wasn't shut properly, and just then the phone rang again. She hesitated a moment, but decided to answer the call. The caller urgently warned her not to go upstairs, saying it was a trap set by the man, and as soon as Little Fish went up, she'd been knocked out by a belt. As the boy asked who called, that boy appeared next to Little Fish, fog thickening again. Strangely, Little Fish could not see what he looked like, only hear his voice through the phone. "Oh? Is this some kind of magic?" The boy Billy told Little Fish, "If you try to escape, the kidnapper will punish you severely, and that feeling is extremely painful." He and the other kids had gone through that, and then he hung up on Little Fish, leaving her heart racing. After the boy left, Little Fish decided to open the door. She slowly walked up the stairs, but stopped just 2 steps from the top. Poor Little Fish had no idea that the kidnapper was hiding behind her, mask and belt ready. In the end, she didn't reveal herself and chose to trust Billy's warning. Back in the basement, she set up the breakfasts. After all, living was more important than anything else. Just then, Billy called again. He told Little Fish not to call her name because she had already forgotten it, and the bottle on the ground began to spin. The boy told Little Fish that a cable was hidden in the crack of the low altar, which she could use to escape. What a clever idea. But Billy hadn't succeeded either. Just then, when Little Fish asked how to do it, the bottle suddenly pointed to the window. On the other side, Little Fish's sister had another strange dream, reminiscent of Billy's disappearance. That day, she was delivering newspapers to each family, and then disappeared before a black van. The final scene was of a house, with a crooked tree and black balloons outside. How eerie. Then she woke up again, while Little Fish successfully found the cable in the crack and threw it towards the window, but it fell down every time. So she returned to the bathroom, pulled out a carpet roll, diligently pushed the cable through the hollow, and finally passed the iron bars. But just as she was stepping on the cable ready to escape, the iron window shamelessly fell down from above. Little Fish's dreams of survival were shattered yet again, and little did she know that the police were still tirelessly searching for her as they knocked on the door. The man who opened the door seemed unafraid, welcoming the officers enthusiastically into the house, with the walls plastered with notices of missing children. Clearly, he had done his homework, and although he spoke convincingly, the police weren't interested. Looks like he dreamed of being a detective for life. But they had no idea that a boy was hiding right under their feet. It's so dramatic. Little Fish went back to the tunnel to dig. Unfortunately, none of it was discovered by the kidnapper. What a relief. She brought food into the basement, hinting that the boy could escape at any time, but Little Fish wasn't falling for it. She knew that stepping out that door could mean trouble. The kidnapper awaited Little Fish's mistake for an excuse. With the boy stuck, she threw down food, tossing a newspaper with her missing news to Little Fish. The phone rang again. Little Fish asked about the names of the two in front, but got no response, while the kidnapper silently waited for her to make a move. As time passed, the man gradually fell asleep, while the boy in the basement stored food on a plate, as he had to conserve energy to survive. In the middle of the night, Little Fish was awakened by a strange noise. She pulled out her toy flashlight, which happened to beam on the child hanging in the corner. This was the first time she saw a missing child, whose neck had been slashed by the kidnapper. Blood was pouring onto the floor, but Little Fish wasn't scared at all. She watched as the child pointed at the phone, seeming to understand something. She immediately grabbed the nearby phone, and the boy said, "You don't have much time. The kidnapper hasn't slept at all." She sensed the moment, implying the kidnapper wouldn't wait, regardless of Little Fish's mistakes. Little Fish had to figure out a way to escape, or she might end up just as sadly as the previous kids. Listening to the bits of information, Little Fish realized she was the third missing child. Then the boy gave her a password. He reminded her that the key to the door upstairs was her bicycle lock, but she had already forgotten the combination. Luckily, she had written the password on the wall, and if Little Fish got to the door, she might actually escape. Little Fish turned to the wall and saw the numbers written by the quarantine child. Tragically, these numbers could create multiple combinations, so she had to take. Then the boy slowly walked up the stairs and quietly opened the kidnapper's room. Luckily, he had already fallen asleep, and Little Fish's heart was in her throat.